much time and money and energy is wasted on politics in this country. It's staggering, isn't it? And I really think if we just restore honor, if we can just see the honor in each other, because there's not a lot of honor in Washington, but there is a lot of honor in Republicans and Democrats and independents. There is a lot of honor close to home. You know?
Mm-hmm. It's like we talked about that one day. If you just closed all the Washington, D.C. offices and made every U.S. congressman and U.S. senator just office in their home state,
things would change.
It could change completely. If they were around their constituents every day instead of around each other in D.C. every day, it'd be a totally different.
You know how much money we would save?
Oh,
you know how much money we would save? Just on security.
Save fraud. You'd save lobbyist influence.
You know, there's no reason why that can't happen. If we wanted to restore what our founders had in mind, you know, our founders, they said this isn't a full-time job. They didn't want this to be a full-time job. This was a part-time job. They wanted you engaged in the private sector. But now, because of the travel and everything else, well, we can't do it, because it wasn't a full-time job before. The Congress didn't meet all the time, year-round. That's not the way it worked.
You know, the Texas legislature meets every 2 years. It is maybe the single greatest thing about the way the government runs in Texas. They meet every 2 years. So 1 year out of every two, you know they're not going to screw up anything.
That's fantastic.
Because they're not meeting.
I didn't know that. That's
it's the
fantastic.
best thing ever. Best thing ever.
This is the way that our founders saw things.
Mm-hmm.
And if we would just take, for security reasons only, I mean, you don't want to have, how many people thought, did anybody, I did all during the Bush years, and I still do during the State of the Union now. I found myself thinking about this briefly with Obama. Who's outside of that building? Hillary Clinton. The reason why I thought of it this year was Hillary Clinton was not part of the system. And I thought, you know, something, God forbid, happens. Who's left to carry on the government? Why would we put ourselves in that situation? Why would we put ourselves with the extraordinary expense and burden of protecting all of those people? Why wouldn't we do it locally? Close the Capitol down. They can meet there, you know, once a year. Close the Capitol down.
Especially now when you have the you can
have
meet
the
on
technology.
You can vote on the internet. You can vote by phone. You can do whatever.
Do it all. Do it all.
Yeah.
It would break up the system. It would keep the people closer to their constituents. It would force the lobbyist to have
travel to them
to take their staff and times it by 50.
Mm-hmm.
You know the burden it would put on lobbyists. Right now, our bribery all in one convenient location. If they're going to bribe us,
which is why they set up on K Street.
Exactly right.
And all they have to do is go over to the Capitol and take them out to lunch.
How hard is it for the average American person when they say, you know, go to Washington and meet with your senator? When Michelle Bachmann said, come to Washington and we need you there 2 days from now. How hard is that?
Very.
And you're only getting the eastern seaboard doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if the government was in the middle of the country. I mean, imagine how many people could do that. More because they're closer to the point of view of the Tea Party goers, or less because of the space.
Are you advocating now that we move the nation's capital to Dubuque, Iowa?
No.
No?
No. No, not Iowa.
Texas. Cedar Rapids?
Texas.
Yeah. Now that.
Texas. Yeah. No, I'm just saying that we should have our people out of Washington all the time.
Absolutely.
Because that I mean, it's just riddled with disease. It's just riddled with disease. Everything our founders said is happening. I don't understand why we look at simple things like that.